Alright guys, so we're out here in Central Oregon. We're good ways back in the desert, and as you can see, I've got Casey with Coyote Works with me, and I've got a new rifle. It's a Savage Model 11 308. Got it with a Nikon scope, 3x9 scope, and I recently applied for and got a Northeast Oregon spring bear tag, and that starts here in April. And so I purchased this rifle for that hunt. Now, I know a lot of you guys have been interested in seeing me get back to some archery, and I promise you after this hunt's over, which goes through May, that we'll be focused solely on archery. But right now, I don't do a lot of shooting, so I really want to focus on this gun, and that's why I'm glad I got Casey with me. Casey has done some shooting sports, and you've even hunted in Africa a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple of times. I've killed 14 different species of African game.
So anyways, I'm really excited to have him along with me to kind of help me work with the rifle and teach me a few things about the rifle. You know, like I said, when it comes to archery, you know, I know quite a bit. You know, I've done a lot of studying with archery, but guns and stuff like that, I have to admit my education is a little weak. So I'm pretty excited about doing that. Now, what do you got? What are you going to be shooting today?
So I just put a new optic on my Colfax Tactical AR-15, so I'm going to be zeroing this, and also hopefully developing kind of a range card, a trajectory card on this out to a couple hundred yards too.
Cool. So yeah, so there's going to be a lot of shooting and stuff like that, so I hope you guys will stick with us and kind of follow along. As you can see, we've also got our tent and our tent setups, where I guess I got my hammock set up and Casey's got his CVT, and we're going to be just staying the night, and it's just going to be a fun day of shooting. Plus maybe a little later if we get a chance. I also brought my 17, and what did you bring? You brought something a little smaller too.
And I brought a Ruger 1022, which also is kind of a newer rifle for me. So
yeah, so we plan on trying to walk around here and hopefully maybe find a jackrabbit or two that we can, you know, shoot, and maybe have some fresh meat for instead of a mountain house for dinner tonight. But we'll just see how that goes. But anyway, stick with us, and hopefully we'll have some cool stuff for you guys to see. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to take our first 3 shots out of my new 308, and we got a target set 25 yards away. I'm going to be using, for this hunt, I'm going to be using Nosler Trophy Grade Accubond ammunition. It's 165 grain for the 308. Nosler is a local company right here in Central Oregon, and they make really great ammunition.
the Accubond's one of my favorite hunting bullets. I've hunted game in Africa, Canada, and the Pacific Northwest with it with great results. I think your hole's on the lower right one.
God, I cannot get this thing to focus.
So what I do is I'd screw it all the way in. Screw it all the way in and watch it and see if it gets clearer that way, because the adjustment's pretty fine on them usually. Like, it takes a lot of turns to change it much.
What's that?
So the problem is the scope doesn't have parallax adjustment on it. So theoretically a scope is only perfectly focused at a specific range.
Okay.
So like a scope like this that doesn't have a parallax adjustment on it is usually around 100 yards as the perfect focus range. So if you look through this scope, our 25-yard target's blurry, But if you pick something that's further out there,
it's
nice and crisp. Yep. It's right in there next to the other two. 6 inches to the right probably, and 6 inches low, do we think?
Yeah.
So we're at 25 yards. So that's a shit ton of clicks. Let's see what your clicks are if they're 8.
1 click is 1/4.
At 100 yards.
Yeah.
So that means they're 1/16 of a minute of angle at 25 yards. So that means 16 clicks gets you an inch.
So I always get confused. So do I actually go up or do I go down?
You go up.
Okay.
So you're moving your bullet holes to the point of aim.
All right, so now we're over at the 100-yard range. We had to take a few extra shots with my rifle on the 25-yard range because there was just a slight error in the adjustments on the turrets, so it caused us to overcompensate just a little bit, but we got it pretty close, so now we're going to start taking some shots here.
So we should be pretty close. We're hoping that we're on paper at this point. We should be on paper at 100 yards, so we're going to take some shots and we'll show you guys how it works out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm always torn between how many times do you do a video of yourself making fire, but I was just thinking I haven't done one in a while, so maybe there's people out there that don't know if I can make fire or not. They're questioning
your abilities to make fire since you couldn't get it done last time.
Oh, I got it done. I always get it done.
I'll see if I can get it done here since I'm using a match.
So nice to be over on our side of the mountains.
Yeah. So Casey, that's how you build a fire.
I've always been wondering about that. Don't worry about the hole, work your bolt.
What about the hole in my head with where my scope just hit?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the hole, worry about the hold.
Okay. All right, guys, so we're kind of wrapping up for the weekend. We had a great weekend out here doing some shooting. We shot a little bit more today. I shot a little bit better last night. I was kind of struggling with some trigger control. Casey ran me through some exercises and things got a little better today. I actually shot the gun out to 200 yards and did pretty well, so I'm happy there. Definitely have a lot more practice to do, and I've got a good month or more till my hunt, so I've got some time, but I plan on trying to shoot this gun every weekend and just really get comfortable with it. But I really want to thank Casey for helping me. I mean, it really helped me a lot. I mean, a lot more than if I would have came out and tried to do this on my own. So
yeah, it was a good time. We really enjoyed shooting with Primal Archer, and it was interesting to watch you apply some of the same principles or recognize that some of the same principles that you apply to archery have some application with shooting too. It's a discipline just like anything else, and it takes practice and technique to be really good at it.
Yeah, and that's just the thing is, I just got to spend a little bit more time, just getting that muscle memory with my trigger pull. I just have a tendency to pull the gun a little bit to the right, or actually to the left a little bit, and so I mean that's just going to take a little bit of time. So I plan on, spending evenings after work and stuff, and just get the gun out and lay down and just dry fire it and just work on getting that muscle memory and work on that throughout the week. But hopefully by the time I bear hunt, I should be pretty tuned in, and thanks to Casey, I'll hopefully get a bear on the ground. But
yeah, and we had a great time. Just spent a lot of time hanging out by the campfire, sharing stories and talking about future plans for trips. So it's just been another great trip, and I look forward to catching you guys on the next one.
Alrighty, Primal Archer out.
Coyote Works out.